Lucie Fink, and this week is 5 days of hygge. Hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to another Try Living with Lucie 5-day challenge. Before we start, if you're new to our channel, click right here to subscribe. And also comment below right now to let me know what other 5-day challenges you want to see me try. We all good? Let's get into it. H-Y-G-G-E. Hygge. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it 100% correctly. Hygge. 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 This little book is going to be my guide this week, and the book tells me that it's pronounced hygge. So we'll go with that. It's a word that the Danes in Denmark use to describe a feeling. Some call it being consciously cozy, or cocoa by candlelight. The term originates from the Norwegian word for well-being, and my major takeaway after reading this entire book from cover to cover is that you cannot really describe hygge. The book did break down some of the major hygge pillars for me, so you'll definitely want to watch until the end of this video if you want to get the clearest and fullest possible picture of what hygge means. So sit back, relax, grab a hot cocoa, and get comfy. I started out today by making the atmosphere of my apartment more hygge-like. Candles are arguably the most important piece of the hygge puzzle. When asked how many candles you're supposed to light at once, most Danes will tell you that it's more than 5. So I got myself 20 candles, all unscented, and I turned my apartment into what most Americans would call a fire hazard. In Denmark though, candles are burned at homes, in offices, even at school. I opened up my windows to make sure there was proper ventilation, and I was being very cautious. Most Danes will tell you that an open fireplace makes a room more hygge-like. Living in a New York City apartment, that wasn't really an option for me, but I did take my big TV and I turned on YouTube and put on the Yule log video that lasts 11 hours, and I had a crackling open fireplace in here. I decorated my living space with excess fluffy blankets and pillows. I strung up some lights around my lamp. And I also went around replacing all of my LED light bulbs with lower temperature bulbs. As I learned in the book, the lower the light temperature, the more hygge it is. Hygge can happen all year round. Yes, even in the summer months. But in Denmark, December is arguably the biggest month for it, which is why I chose this time of year. Also, most of the clothing associated with hygge is clothing that you would most likely associate with a warm winter's night spent locked inside by the fireplace. What better way to show you guys my hygge wardrobe than to do a Lucie Fink hygge haul. The book taught me about a word, Hyggebukser. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but it basically refers to a pair of pants that you would never be caught dead wearing in public. Maybe I should get a pair of Hyggebukser.
We're here. This blue chunky sweater is from my friends over at Hygge by Anja Cole, and you'll see a few other pieces in here from them. They actually let me borrow a few of their items for this week of hygge. First item is this sweater that I wore yesterday. This is a chunky, oversized, but sort of cropped, long sleeve turtleneck. I got it from Toby, and it's really, really freaking soft. Beautiful. Here are another of those Hygge by Anja Cole sweaters. How soft is that?
Wow.
Right?
So nice.
You can't have hygge without scarves, as I learned from the little book of hygge. This one, I just don't remember. Oh, I blew out the candle with the scarf.
Don't remember.
I'm making a mess. Please hold.
Food plays a major role in hygge, especially sweet, delicious, and really indulgent food. And certain foods are very hygge-like, while others are just not. For instance, cookies are. Celery sticks are not. Score! So today, now that I had my hygge environment in the living room glowing and I had my comfy hygge clothing on, I spent today indulging. I started with a mug of rich, dark hot chocolate piled to the brim with mini marshmallows. Sugar and sweets are part of a balanced hygge-like lifestyle, so I of course was munching on gummy bears all afternoon. But something that I read in the book is that the longer it takes to make something, the more hygge-like it is. It's all about preparing food and our relationship with food and the joy that comes from eating something that we worked hard to make. Cinnamon buns. I'll put the link to this recipe in the description box below. I started by making the dough from scratch with yeast. I mixed in the salt, eggs, and flour, which let me tell you was a real workout on the forearms, and then I let it rise. I cleaned off my countertop before pouring some oil onto it, and then I spread out the dough into a rectangular shape. I poured melted butter on it, and then I spread my cinnamon sugar mixture on top. Next, I rolled it up into a log shape, and then I cut out slices. While they were in the oven baking, I whipped up some homemade cream cheese icing, and I've got to be honest with you, as always, they looked really great, but they were not great. But if I took anything away from the food section of the Hygge book, it's that the food you're cooking doesn't have to come out perfectly. So even if my cinnamon buns didn't come out that well, the entire experience of making them could not have been more Hygge. Time for another Hygge definition. Hyggekrog, a comfy or cozy corner or a snug place. Apparently most Danes have a Hyggekrog in their home where they like to snuggle up with a warm blanket, a cup of tea, and a good book. My windowsills aren't exactly wide enough to sit on, so I decided to make that little corner of the couch my Hyggekrog for the day. I spread out my fluffiest blankets, brought along a few good books and a journal, popped on my fuzzy socks, and relaxed. Today was all about having a Hygge-filled day using some of the Hygge tips that I've learned in the book so far. In my journal, I wrote down a few of the happiest Hygge-like moments that I've had in the past, and then I created a Hygge bucket list of Hygge moments that I want to have in the future with the people I love. Things like a board game night with my siblings, renting a cabin with my family, and getting snowed in with Michael. This is a good moment for me to mention that even though I'm Hygge-ing at home this week, Hygge does not need to take place in the home. Actually, some of the best Hygge can take place outdoors, in nature, or in coffee shops. This is also a good time for me to mention that I've been Hygge-ing by myself this week because it's the middle of the work week and all the people I know and love are either at school or at work. But most Danes will tell you that Hygge is the best when it's experienced with others. So once Michael gets home from work tonight, we're gonna snuggle up in our little Hyggekrog, and he recently just went through and printed all of our photos from when we first started dating in high school, so we're gonna look through our new photo albums. I got Michael, and we're in our little Hyggekrog, and we've got some candlelight on. Dark outside. This one is our first photo that we ever took together. We're so young.
Oh yeah, that was my college graduation. That's when we went to Newport.
Happy Friday, or as they say in the book, Happy Fredag, which is Hygge on Fridays. So last night, Michael and I Hygged together on the couch, but any Dane will tell you that the sweet spot for Hygge is with 3 to 4 people. So tonight we invited my sister Allie over because the 3 of us, me, Michael, and my sister, have always called ourselves the 3 Musketeers. We're best friends and we love spending time together. Since Hygge is all about being present, we turned our cell phones off and then we worked together to cook a delicious dinner. And then we spent the rest of the night laughing together, playing board games on the couch, and just enjoying being with one another.
Doing a hoedown.
Yes!
Writing a book.
Ha! Yes! Okay, what about
Looking like an idiot.
Skiing.
Skiing.
3 Musketeers. I don't think I've enjoyed another 5-day challenge quite as much as this one, and this little book here could not have been more helpful at allowing me to integrate this amazing Danish feeling into my everyday life here in New York. Comment below letting us know how you Hygge, and if you've never heard the term before, I highly recommend you get this book and give it a try. And as always, let me know what you want to see me try next time for 5 days. Bye! Hey YouTube, thanks for watching 5 Days of Hygge. Click here for another video on Refinery29, right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and here for my personal YouTube channel. Bye!